I'm Lori Flaquer of Soltar Solutions, and we are here today bringing you Focus Forward, a show about business, helping entrepreneurs to take their business to the next level. And right now, I am reading the Art of Negotiation, Trump-Style Negotiation by George H. Ross. It is a phenomenal book. I recommend everyone to read it. Fabulous. And I have a very good friend of mine here today, Pete Machalek of Sage Presence, co-founder of Sage Presence, and he is going to tell us all about networking. I will tell you right now, Pete is one of the best networkers anywhere around, definitely in the Twin Cities. He knows everyone, and anyone that doesn't know Pete, I think, doesn't get out of the house. So anyway, welcome Pete to our show today. Hi, Pete.
Thanks.
How
Hi.
you doing?
I'm good.
That's good. So I want to ask you the age-old question. What is networking, and why is it so important?
Well, two very good questions. What networking is building relationships. It's getting out there, getting to know people, and having people know you, which is distinct from selling. A lot of people get out there and they think networking is all about talking about themselves and talking about their company and kind of pushing their services, pushing their wares. And that's a great way to end relationships, not really to build them.
So isn't networking talking about your company and what you have to sell?
Well, it can be sort of eventually, but the short, quick idea is no, not really. It's about inspiring people to want to have a relationship with you. It's about bringing your network to the conversation. Really what it is it's building relationships, and the best way to build relationships is to go to help people, to show up, to learn about them and find out what they need and what they're after and what they want, and one way or another be the thing that they want.
So how many people are confused about this?
I'd say about 98% of the world, me included when I started. I mean, when our company started 10 years ago, it wasn't about networking at all. It was about presenting. And we were building people's ability to present themselves. And I thought of presenting and networking as two completely different things. And as a result, I decided I didn't know anything about networking. So when I went out there, I presented myself, not the way that we taught people to present. I presented myself the way I thought I was supposed to when I was networking, and I turned people off. I talked about me, I talked about my company, I talked about my services, and people weren't particularly interested. So yeah, it took me a while to figure it out.
So if you're not supposed to sell, and you're not supposed to talk about you, what are you supposed to do when you're networking?
Well,
give us the formula.
Okay, it's a pretty simple concept. You're supposed to ask about them. You're supposed to find out a little bit about who they are, what they're about, you know, enough to your own taste. And it really is a season to taste sort of thing. Different people have different amounts of information that they're looking for to get a sense of whether or not they know this person. So, you know, ask about this other person until you really feel like you've wrapped your brain around who they are and what they're about. Then ask about what's going on for them right now. What's your situation right now? And what you're listening for is something missing, something imperfect about their current situation. Then ask about what they're going for. What's their future situation that's better than this situation right now? So this situation right now doesn't need to be tragic, horrible, awful. It's not like you're looking for, oh my gosh, my business is about to close down unless I get some leads. But
Right.
You are looking for something missing right now. Mm-hmm. You're looking for something in the future that's better for them, that they're after, so that you can be the person in the middle that gets them from where they are right now to where they want to be.
So this is sounding a little bit to me like an interview process.
You know, that's a great way to think about it. And it doesn't need to be like a formal interviewing process. I mean, I like to keep things natural and informal and interactive. But yeah, what you want to do as you're leading this conversation is you're kind of filling in buckets in your head. You know, you've got the general bucket about who this person is. You've got the bucket about their current situation. You've got the bucket about where they want to get to, the situation that they want to get to, so that you can be that middle bucket of providing some sort of action that'll take them, if not all the way to their end bucket, but closer to their end bucket. And the way to go about doing that, probably, is you're going to introduce them to somebody that they want to get introduced to. So you're kind of thinking, as they're talking about their current situation and their target situation, you're thinking, who do I know who can get them closer to where they want to get to?
Okay, so can we do a demo?
Sure.
All right, in that way, I think it'll solidify for the people that are watching this.
Great idea.
So we're just meeting, okay? We're meeting
I don't
right
know
now.
this woman.
We don't know each other. Okay, so we walk into a room, we happen to collide.
Yeah.
And okay, so show us how you would do it.
Great. So I'll pretend there's a name tag. So it's Lori?
Yeah.
Tell me about yourself, Lori.
Well, I see you're Pete. Hi, Pete. I have a company called Saltar Solutions, and primarily I help business owners and entrepreneurs by helping them to understand what their brand is. When we develop their brand and their differentiator, then I help them market it, and sometimes I help them get media exposure.
Gotcha. So you're like a coach or a consultant?
Yeah, more like a consultant.
Got it. Okay.
And I have a program that I take clients through that is, while it's customized, each one of the clients actually go through each step of it. So I have a program that I take clients through.
Gotcha.
And it works really well.
Cool. So you're a business consultant. You help people brand themselves more powerfully and effectively to build their business.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. And what's going on for you right now?
Well, business is really busy. It's very good. I have, I'm getting ready to do a book launch party for one of my clients, which is very exciting. And I'm creating a retreat in Sedona, Arizona for another one of my clients. So I'm very busy. Clients are moving along and things are going well.
Gotcha. Cool. So are you like a one-person business?
Well, no, I have some people that work with me as well.
Gotcha.
But I'm always looking for, for young talent that I can bring in and kind of groom and teach the ropes of my business, because my business is expanding quite a bit.
Oh, very cool. Well, tell me a little bit about that. What's the business? What's your vision for the business?
Oh, my vision for the business. Wow, that's exciting. My vision for the business is I spend a lot more time traveling than I do currently, and out kind of putting deals together for my clients in foreign countries so they can speak and sell their books and their training programs and things like that. So I kind of bring people together. So because of that, I'm going to need more people in the, actually in the office. So that would be one thing that I would be looking for.
Gotcha. So right now, it sounds like you're doing a bulk of the delivery of the business, and you do have other people kind of supporting you. Your vision in the future is you're doing more traveling for the business. You're kind of doing the heavy lifting elsewhere. Meanwhile, back in town, you've got other people in the business who are delivering the sorts of things that you're delivering now.
Right.
Cool, cool. So, so it sounds like maybe a couple things you're looking for are like up and comers, young, hungry people who could join you in your business, who can sort of follow in your footsteps. That's
I'm
one thing.
looking for creative, talented, young people that really, really know how to be flexible and think like kind of on the spot, very innovative, and all walks of life, because we do film for our clients, we do many writing, many things. So I'm looking, and I know you're out and about everywhere, so if you...
Gotcha. Okay, so young people who are flexible thinkers, creative thinkers, and who are ambitious, who are looking to and probably who have an interest in business and marketing and branding. Gotcha. Cool. Well, man, yeah, there are a couple like people at schools that I can think of who would probably be perfect gateway people for me to introduce you to. And there are a couple of young people too who are leaping to mind about who I think could be a really good.
Well, the thing about the young thing is, it's not really young people; it's people that are kind of young in their career.
Oh, okay.
So it's
so,
and I know you have a lot of connections with.
Yeah.
So we would continue going on like this. One of the things I have to mention is, I can't imagine that I wouldn't be asking Pete more about himself during this process.
Well, you might be. A couple of things to think about. Personally, I like to keep those two conversations separate.
Okay.
So I don't mind spending the whole first conversation on the other person because that shows the other person that I do really care. And it's like, it's easy to accidentally give the impression that I'm just kind of going through the motions of caring about you so that you will care about me and ask about me. I fully commit to being there to help in the conversation so that they get, wow, this person really does care about me. Because, like I said earlier, the goal is to build a relationship. I want to end this conversation with the other person going, boy, I'd love to have another conversation with this person. I'd love to actually have a meaningful relationship with this person, as opposed to feeling like, well, that was a pleasant few minutes, that filled the few minutes in some way. Because for me, the end of a networking conversation, the end of a successful networking conversation is me getting the other person's business card and me saying, I'd like to follow up with you. And them going, great, I'd love that. As opposed to, not having a card or getting the card and, just having it be a formality that doesn't really mean anything. I want to consider that card my ticket to the rest of the relationship.
Wow, that's phenomenal. So what about these networking things where you're, like speed networking, where you're supposed to gather as many cards as you can in the first 3 minutes, and what do you think about that?
I have mixed feelings about them. I'm a big fan of efficiency, but I think some of these speed networking ones are so dang efficient that they kind of squeeze the humanity out of the conversation.
Okay.
And I think a networking conversation needs to have its humanity in there. I think people need to recognize each other for the people that they are. Otherwise, it just sort of feels like, are you a good prospect for me? No? Okay, next. Are you a good prospect for me? No? Okay, next. Oh, you're a good prospect? Yeah, I'd like to talk with you some more. It's...
I've been to that event.
Yeah, it's... nobody likes to feel like they're on an assembly line being assessed for being sold to.
Right. So how long should you spend with someone in this initial networking conversation?
I don't have a hard and fast rule when it comes to the amount of time. The way I think about it is try to keep it efficient. You're basically learning these three things about the other person. Who are they? What situation are they in right now that's less than ideal? What situation do they want to be in that's better? So that you can talk about, well, who do I know who can get them from here closer to there? And once you feel like that conversation is complete, you can be done. Get their card and move on. Or get their card and let them go, well, geez, what about you? Let them be inspired to follow the model that you just kind of demonstrated to them. And very often they will, but don't expect it. And the reason I say that is you don't want to be disappointed. Your disappointment can kind of taint your presence, and we are all about winning presence to win people over for relationships. So if you're like, aren't you going to ask about me now? That can kind of taint this really nice relationship that you've just set up.
Okay, excellent. And now the question is, what about follow-up?
Very good question. It is crucial. So yeah, you've got this card, and probably, usually, you're having this first conversation in a place that isn't particularly conducive to a long, meaningful, unrushed conversation, right? So
are we talking like, getting back to that, are we talking like 3 to 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Something in there. It really is, it depends. There are a million variables. But yeah, if it is a networking event that's really busy and loud, yeah, 3 to 5 minutes because it's not conducive. So, tell me a little bit about your not so happy situation that you're struggling with right now. Well, it's gonna be, it probably is gonna be rushed just from the environment. So yeah, at the end of that conversation, when you have the card, say, hey, I'd love to have a follow-up conversation, and then actually do follow up. So call or email and set something up. And it doesn't have to be a face-to-face. It could be a meaningful phone call. Nowadays, it can be Skype. There are so many variables that technology allows for these days. And yeah, the point is build on the conversation that you had. So probably you only had a few minutes to talk about not so happy situation, happier ending situation. Expand on that in the follow-up conversation. Learn more about who they are, learn more about their current situation, learn more about what they're after so that you can explore more possibilities of how you can help. And you probably will find more people and organizations that you can connect them to. And by the way, that is kind of an ancillary benefit to doing more and more networking. The more you network, the more people you learn about, the more you're adding to your bag of tools that you can offer people. Everybody that you know, every organization that you know of is potential value to everybody that you talk to. And I tell you, so many people, think I'm this hugely valuable guy. And it feels great that people think of me as hugely valuable, but really what they think of me as valuable because I'm kind of the gateway to a pretty sizable network of people and organizations. And yeah, I'm pretty good at remembering them, but I also walk around with them in my phone a lot. So in the conversation, I'll look up things and I'll go, ooh, here's a good one, and I'll share the contact info. So. A huge way to rise in the eyes of people that you're talking to is to have your network in your brain as you're talking to people, as opposed to just yourself. And that really is the distinction between selling and networking. When you're networking, you're kind of the ambassador to everybody you know. And when you're selling, you're representing yourself.
So that sounds like a really great way to think of it for people that are kind of shy about networking, because some people have a really hard time. They think of themselves as the only one walking into a room of 500 people that they don't know that are strangers. But if you think about it as an ambassador for your network, and as you're walking in, you're bringing all these people with you, and that you're bringing value to the group, it would probably be a lot easier for those, especially shy people.
Yeah, spot on. Right. What shy people struggle with, and I count myself as one of them, to say the least, what shy people contend with is their attention on themselves. We walk into a room and it just feels like spotlight on self, and how am I supposed to be right now? The best way to turn that around is get your attention off yourself and onto the people that you're talking to, and get your attention off yourself and onto the people that you know. So every conversation isn't about you. It's about them, the people you're talking to, and it's about the people that you know who could potentially help them. And the only time that shifts is when the other person does ask about you. But the cool thing is they're asking about you. They really do want to know about you at that point. So many of us get hung up on, am I talking too much about themselves? I mean, do they really care? And when they ask about you, that's permission. You actually can talk about yourself at that point. And actually, just a tiny little detail about that. When you talk about yourself, it doesn't literally have to be about yourself either. It's about who you help in your business. So like when I talk about Sage Presence, I don't just talk about Sage Presence. I talk about business professionals who need to present themselves more powerfully and effectively, and what Sage Presence can do to make a difference to them.
Well, that's really important to be able to deliver that information. Do you think that people should kind of prep that before they go into these networking situations?
Yeah, definitely.
So it shouldn't be something that you just expect, okay, I have to figure this out on the spot.
Yes, yeah. So there are a couple of things that I recommend to help people prep for networking. A biggie for me that I have done for years until it totally got ingrained in my head is I had this little mantra that I just kept repeating. Okay, this isn't about me, this isn't about me, this isn't about me, this is about them, this is about them, this is about them. And it just reminded me that the conversations that I'm leading are about them. I'm asking questions. I'm not starting a conversation about me. And I would practice responding to the question, so what are you about, or what do you do? You know, that really is the prototypical question that we contend with. So yeah, instead of just saying, oh, I'm a speaker and a trainer, you know, I'll think of that as the opening line, or I'll shift it so that it's, you know, I'm Pete Machalek. I run a company called Sage Presence. Business professionals come to us when they need to communicate something powerfully and effectively, and they're feeling held back. You know, that's the beginning of the story that I tell.
So when you say that, then usually that's their opportunity to then ask you additional questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I do.
That opens the door.
Exactly. I do have a whole story in mind, but I don't feel the need to kind of vomit it. Can I say that on the air? I don't feel the need to vomit the whole story out, you know, in one fell swoop. I like to have things be a back and forth. So yeah, I'll tell the beginning of the story and they'll go, oh, that's interesting. And then I'll tell them a little bit more, and hopefully they'll ask a question and I'll respond to it. Because yeah, you know, definitely memorize a structure, definitely memorize a few keywords that you want to get out there, but have it be an organic thing so that people feel like you are talking to them as opposed to reciting
Exactly.
to them. Yeah.
Okay, so another question I have about this is, I know you hold events where you help people to understand how to network better. So tell me about those events.
Oh, those are a blast. They're called Be Connected to Effective Networking, and it's a 3-hour thing. So there's a little casual networking. We do a presentation that helps people identify all the stuff that gets in their way around networking, and then just systematically we resolve that stuff. Most people, well, it's the stuff we've been talking about today. Most people don't know how to think about networking. They don't know how to manage their emotions around networking. They don't know what to say. We give them the tools that they need to think about networking in a really positive way, and to manage their emotions, and to lead these networking conversations in a powerful way. And then we let them practice. So it's so cool. At the beginning of the event, people are networking kind of tentatively and quietly, and the energy level is down here. By the time we get to the networking practice, it's like energy all over the place and people are going nuts. And it's really powerful. And then we come back together and we have a final Q&A. And our mandate is to send people off with the ability to practice this stuff with anybody anywhere, to be able to network with anybody anywhere, not just with graduates of the workshop, and to be able to think of networking not just as this first conversation on the networking floor, but as building relationships in an ongoing way. And yeah, people have told us that the events have made a tremendous difference to them and have allowed them to establish themselves in the communities that they want to get established in, because now they know where to find them and what to do when they're in there.
Well, I think that they're great. I've been to many of them, and I've met phenomenal people, and also people that I've been able to eventually do business with. So I think they're great. But if you can't make it to an event like that, is there any other way to take advantage of the information that you have?
Yeah, a few things. We're coming out with a book, a networking book, and there's also going to be some kit materials that are associated with the book. We also do one-on-one coaching, and organizations bring us in to work with their staff, because very often organizations recognize, man, we need our people to represent us. We need our people to get out there and just build relationships in these target communities that we want to have more of a toehold in, and be able to talk about the company in a way that communicates our core value. So yeah, we go into organizations and we build the skills, these networking skills, and we build the skills to be able to respond to the question, oh, so what do you do, in a way that's meaningful.
Excellent. Okay, so we're almost wrapping up. So can you give me 3 tips, just 3 top-level tips that anyone can use walking into a networking event? Absolutely.
Let's see, the first thing would be, remember, it isn't about you, it's about them. Okay. Remember that the mandate here is leading conversations to find out what they need so you can help them. That's number 1. Number 2 is, if you're feeling anxiety, replace that anxiety with appreciation. Actively appreciate the people that you're talking to. Actively appreciate the opportunity to help them. It's a totally different emotional vibe. And what that does is it shifts your attention from you to them in a really positive, magnetic way. Third thing is, remember these 3 buckets that I was talking about. The not so happy beginning situation, the happy future situation that they're after, and then that middle bucket of what you can do to help them get from their not so happy bucket to their happy ending bucket.
Well, thank you so much. You've been a great guest. I really appreciate it. And I hope everybody's going to get out there and they're going to start networking and do a phenomenal job at it. You can always check out the website. I'm sure you have information on the website, www.sagepresence.com. And by all means, take advantage of the information that Pete has offered today and could offer you in your business. So thank you so much. This is Lori Flaquer of Soltar Solutions. Thank you for viewing the show today. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Robert Dempsey with your tips from the net. And today I want to talk about just the very basics of SEO, because the basics of SEO have not changed for a long time. And here are those basics. Number 1, it all starts with content that people want to read and share. So the obvious question then is, well, how do I know what people want to read and share? Well, that totally depends on your ideal customer, right? Who is your target market? What are those people interested in? What questions do they have? So for instance, if you've been out there selling your products and services, I'm sure that you've encountered some questions. So you can write answers to those questions as blog posts and put that out on the net. So it all starts out with the content. Now from there, we get a little bit more crafty with what's called metadata. And basically that's just a fancy way of saying the title, description, and keywords. Now if you're using a content management system like WordPress for your blogging or content publishing, then you will have these fields in a little form that you can simply fill out while you write the rest of your post as well. So we have content, we have all the metadata. Now it comes down to getting your content shared in social media. So the first thing to do is have social media accounts. And then once you have the accounts, build up your audience, invite your friends and current clients to join you on social media, network with people, build up those communities, and then share that content with the communities. And then in the very beginning, your community might be small, so ask people to share it. Say, hey, on Twitter, for instance, you can say, hey, please retweet this for me. And a lot of times, just asking will get you there. So really, that's the basics. Maybe a little bit more advanced thing is how you structure your content. And what I mean by that is, you start off with a really catchy headline to get people to read the post in the first place, have a good introduction that tells people what they're going to read about and why they should be reading this post, and then deliver that. And when you deliver it, don't just have blocks of text. Now, I've done that, and I can kind of get away with it now, but for the most part, it's difficult to get away with that. So I suggest you mix up text, images, and video. The longer someone stays on your site, the better for you. So that's it for today's tip. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Yay, that's it.